It's spanking new. Spanking new.
Fresh coat of paint.
Yeah. Yeah. A good coat of paint.
I like spankings.
Welcome to this week's Top 5, brought to you by the Nerd Cave Network. I am Derek, joined along with, as always,
Zach Dykes.
And Robbie.
This week, we're going to venture to a galaxy far, far away. We've done Star Wars characters, movies,
You almost sung Superman.
but this time, we're going to be doing our Top 5 Star Wars Lightsaber Battles. Zach, why don't you start us off with your number 5?
My number 5 is brand new. It's spanking new. Spanking new.
Fresh coat of paint.
Yeah. Yeah. A good coat of paint.
I like spankings.
Oh, anyway, my number 5 comes from episode 7, The Force Awakens, and it's the lightsaber battle between Rey and Kylo Ren. Just it was very brute force. It wasn't anything finesse about it. It was just in your face, just hack slash. It was really, really cool.
And you can definitely tell that both of them have a long way to go in lightsaber battles because, like you said, it was very raw. It's very, not choreographed, but like it was just tough. It was awesome looking, and
it would be like someone picking up a sword right now and fighting each other with it.
Pretty much.
It wouldn't have any kind of training.
But that's what's cool about it, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. Robbie, what's yours?
Surprisingly, coming in at 5 is the battle between Qui-Gon Obi, and Maul. That was one of the highlights of the Phantom Menace was that battle, the pod racing, and the love connection. But I'm just kidding. But
between Jar
and your
Jar.
Qui-Gon quote,
and the Qui-Gon quote, of course. But that was just an epic battle. One of my favorite Jedis was killed in that battle, but it was just well choreographed. All the spins, flips, and jumps, and it was just beautiful.
My favorite part of that was when Qui-Gon Jinn died. What's your number? What's your number 5?
You're an animal.
My number 5 is from Revenge of the Sith, and it is Yoda versus Palpatine.
Oh, that's a good one.
The ultimate good versus the ultimate evil. And it's a lightsaber duel that you never thought you would see happen.
Nope, you never would have.
And it's, they go into the Senate chamber and Palpatine's throwing the giant pods that the different senators are in. So it's not just a lightsaber duel, but it's just using the Force to fight each other.
Yeah.
And just seeing that ultimate good versus ultimate evil was awesome.
Oh, yeah. It was one of the coolest parts of episode 3.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Hands down.
My number 4, and Robbie already mentioned this, is the Maul versus Obi-Wan / Qui-Gon Jinn. It was just really, really cool getting to see the double staff lightsaber just spinning around. And, that was the first time you got to see lightsaber battles for that prequel, other than the really cool fight in the desert between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul.
Yeah.
But he did only use one of his lightsabers.
Yeah.
The coolest part was the double-bladed lightsaber.
When he comes out and it's like, and then the other one comes out.
Yeah.
He's just BA. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So, and of course, like I already said, when Qui-Gon Jinn dies, is very good.
It's the pinnacle of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
You filthy animal.
Like, I could live just watching that alone.
Mine actually comes from the animated Clone series. It's
I'm sorry, Robbie, go ahead.
You guys are horrible. Just terrible. It's when Sidious, Maul, and Opress all fight. That battle, because, you see he comes in and he has the hood on, and then he just force pushes them up in the air, and then they all just fight. It was beautiful.
Never
I
saw
haven't
that.
watched that one, but that sounds cool.
I do want to watch that series, like,
It's
from
great.
beginning
Like,
to end.
I would watch because there's a lot of. You get to meet, Kit Fisto. You get to meet all these great Jedis and the Sith and everything like that. And Maul comes back, and it's beautiful. And
I like
that
it.
fight especially was really awesome.
I like it. My number 4 is, as Zach mentioned, Kylo Ren versus Rey from The Force Awakens. It's the first legit lightsaber battle of this new trilogy. And like you guys said before, just the raw aggression. They're both just trying to kill each other. They both don't really know what they're doing. So, and the way it was shot, too, was actually really beautiful with the snowy background and the dark trees. It was a really cool setting for a lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
One of the coolest parts is where Kylo Ren has her on the edge or whatever, and you could see the lightsabers like in her eyes.
Yeah.
That was just so dope.
Yeah.
So dope.
Totes.
So I really enjoyed that lightsaber fight. It's not the best choreographed or even the coolest looking, but you could feel the raw emotion
It was just intense.
in that duel, yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is one that was probably the best part of, yeah, you can suck on that. The best part of episode 2, and that's the Yoda versus Dooku lightsaber battle.
People erupted when that happened.
It was
You see Yoda just coming in with his cane and everything, and then Dooku says something snide, and he just drops his cane, pulls out his lightsaber, and then he just starts flipping around. You're like, what is this? He's walking around with a cane all the time or floating around in a chair, and you're like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was the coolest decision to make Yoda move that way. Like, it was just so awesome.
mine is also that battle. At number 3, I hate
He came
you.
in sitting after me.
But I know. But
Everything's
to
going
see,
according to my plan.
because Dooku was so much taller than Yoda, Yoda had to do all those acrobatic flips and stuff just to stay, on the
Yeah.
offensive side of it. And just like you said, seeing him walk in and he's, hobbling along, and then he just drops in. Whoosh.
Plus, if you really think about it, Yoda was actually Count Dooku's master. He was, Yoda's apprentice and everything. So that kind of, conflict between both of them is an interesting thing, which a lot of people don't think about, that this is the person that he trained, and he probably feels responsible himself that his Padawan, his apprentice that was a Jedi master, fell to the dark side. So that's a pretty interesting, thought about that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally agree. It was one of the most surprising, besides the Palpatine and Yoda fight.
Yeah.
And then after the fight, Yoda picks up his cane and goes back to hobbling.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But my number 3 is Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Specifically, after Qui-Gon dies, and then it's just Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. Their fight was so fast and so aggressive.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like that, and it's just that little brief sequence is one of my favorites of any of the 6 movies, because that's when Obi-Wan just flips on that switch and he actually uses anger to beat Darth Maul.
And like you saw it in his eyes, that he just lost someone that was super important to him. And like he's like, I'm not letting you get away with this.
Yeah.
And it was intense, very intense.
And seeing, the pinnacle of, I guess, the peak of the Jedi fighting, like, the Jedi have been around forever. These guys have been trained for years with how to use a lightsaber. So it's one of the better choreographed fights as well.
Yeah, you bringing that up, I had this thought for a few weeks, that if you look at the prequels, this is where the Jedi are actually trained to use a lightsaber, that it's, very finesse, very, choreographed or whatever, it has technique to it. And then you go to the original
Originals.
trilogy, and it's just, that kind of sword fighting. It's more, I guess, slower, like
Basic.
Basic sword fighting and everything. So that was interesting because Luke didn't get that lightsaber training for him. So, of course it's not going to be, fast or anything like that. And then you see Kylo Ren and Rey fight, and there's just raw emotion, just like picking up a sword and beating each other with it.
Because the art of lightsaber battles have dwindled down, because now the only person who's really teaching is Luke.
Yeah.
So-
And he doesn't really, he showed that in the original trilogy that he's not that type of fighter or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, number dose. Luke versus Darth Vader in episode 5.
Our top 3 is the same.
It sucks to be you right now, doesn't it? This one had so many ramifications for it. One thing that was really cool, it was slower than the prequels or whatever, but it was the use of the environment of being on Cloud City and Bespin, and to be using the carbonite, trying to trap Luke, and just all of these things. Darth Vader whipping, parts of the setting towards Luke to beat him, and then of course the iconic scene where he chops off Luke's hand, and then he's going to have a moment where he just kind of gloats and like, join me, and all of that, and then the big reveal. You can't beat that. The big reveal, and the only way you can beat it is with an amazing lightsaber battle, which will be my number 1. But that's my number dose right there. Robbie?
My number dose is the same one as Zach for pretty much all the same reasons. I mean, it was just the epic battle between good and evil, and then you had the reveal of the century that Vader is his father, and it blew everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. And it was a great battle. My number 1 is
boom. Oh, my nuggets.
We might as well sweep it. My number 2 is as well Luke versus Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back. I really love that, like you said, Vader used part of the environment. Like he would pick up things and throw them at Luke. More like he's just gloating, saying, I'm so much more powerful than you. You have so much more to learn. And just seeing that first real confrontation on screen between, then you don't know is father and son. Yeah. And having their first real confrontation is just so cool. And then, of course, the reveal at the end, and Luke gets his hand chopped off, and his lightsaber falls into nothing, and what we thought at the time was lost forever, but if you've seen The Force Awakens, you know that it's not.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how that's all done.
Coming in at number 1
is Robbie's death on camera. You can take this to police and show them.
That got dark so fast.
My number 1 is the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight from Episode 3. This thing was just amazing. The choreography for it was
so long on that,
which they lost a ton of weight, just training for this fight. But just the epic speed, it's just so amazing. And the prequels are already always crapped on of being subpar and everything, but this was just so cool to see. And one of the best moments is when they're fighting their match, and they're not even hitting each other's blades because they fight the same way.
They're like mirror images of each other.
And then they both force push, and you can see like that shimmer, that movement between them, and then they just go boom like that, and it's so amazing.
And a lot of good, like the quotes like, Anakin, I've got the high ground, and it doesn't matter, and Anakin tries to attack him, and you see him like getting all cut up and everything at the end, and then you see him become Vader. Yeah. And Hayden Christensen's acting career in that movie was less than stellar, but that part where he became Vader was his best acting in that movie by far. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do, but just the emotion in his voice where he's like, no!
That wasn't him.
That wasn't?
No. That was James Earl Jones.
Jr.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. But still, leading up to that,
Robbie on his stellar knowledge of.
Hey, it's been a while. Everybody makes mistakes.
I know.
Well, I mean, that's.
But that leading up
I had
to that
throw
part,
you in the lava.
Hayden Christensen's acting was a lot.
Oh
better
yeah,
in
it
that
definitely
part.
was. Sith dealing
Absolutes.
Sith.
Fifth.
The Jimmy Fallon skit for the MTV Movie Awards that year with him being was the best thing ever.
Don't make me kill you. It's the same as yours, Anakin versus Obi-Wan. To me, the best quote was when they're on the floating platform and Obi-Wan just looks at him and says, "I've failed you." I was just like, you feel the hurt
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Obi-Wan when that happens.
Hit you right in the feels.
And then he was like, "You're my brother." Like that part almost gets me to tear up like every time. Like when he's like crawling, he's like, "Ah!" like screaming, and like
Yeah.
he's like that's big
Yeah.
right there. But guys, let us know what your top 5 lightsaber battles are in the comments below, because hey, not all of them will be the same. So let us know in the comments below. And if you have a top 5 that you would like to see us do, go ahead, pop that down there. And hey, you never know, we might actually do it. So you could be one of these cool people, be like, hey, I suggested that top 5. Derek, where can they find us on the internet?
Well, we are all over social media. We have an awesome Facebook group, a lot of good conversations from Star Wars to video games, other types of movies. So you can find that on Facebook. Just search for Nerd Cave Network. We are also on the Twitter machine and Instagram at Nerd Cave Network.
And you can find us on our website at www.nerdcave.com, where all of our articles, videos, and podcasts are. And we have all our podcasts come out through the week on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, soon to be SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Yep. And guys, all throughout the week on the YouTube channel that you're watching right now, we have on Mondays part of our podcast that you can watch. And then throughout the week, Let's Plays. And on Thursday, we have a Throwback Thursday with Derek. And then on Fridays, of course, you get another top 5. So guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on nothing. And make sure you hit that like button so, hey, we know you enjoyed the video, and share it with your friends. But hey, everyone likes Star Wars.
Yep.
And if they don't, then they need a good, swift force choke. This has been Zach.
Derek?
And Robbie.
Have a week.